DJI is going to be banned in the United States of America. It is never coming back.
Well, the DJI ban is officially here.
The US government has actually really banned DJI drones.
DJI is cooked.
Man, there's something really fishy going on with this drone ban, this DJI ban in the US. Now, I'm fairly checked out on FPV right now, but I've been following this story for a little bit, and what the fuck? This is so obviously just a sham by probably cocaine Trump Jr. and totally not a rapist Red Cat CEO Jeff Thompson to remove competition from the market. Now, I hate DJI. I really do not like DJI. I think they're a shit company and they've single-handedly ruined FPV for everyone. So, I'm like, good, fuck you dudes. But this ban is apparently on like everything not made in the USA, which is nothing. We make nothing here more technologically advanced than a fucking Ford F-250. Like, bro, there are drone companies without human rights violations and IP theft lawsuits up the ass that are getting caught up in this whole thing. I'm not going to explain the ban here because I'm sure you've already watched 32 videos about it and posted angry words on Reddit, but this guy in a really cozy looking jacket will give you a TLDR if you need one.
So ultimately, when the stock is diminished within the country, these things just become paperweights. And what that means is no more new FCC licenses will be granted to DJI or Autel Robotics, who also produces drones.
So no more drone shit can be imported here basically after this. Here's our pal UAV Futures though with his take on things.
Now, Red Cat has also been acquired by a company called Unusual Machines. So under this big umbrella of Unusual Machines, we've got Red Cat, we've got Rotor Riot. Now, Unusual Machines' biggest competitor in the drone space is, wouldn't you know it, DJI. Now, this is where it gets a little bit spicy. Unusual Machines, it is in their best interest to have DJI evaporated from the market, but how could they have any influence on what these national security agencies are saying? It's not like they have any direct connections to the White House, right? Well, isn't this interesting? Wouldn't you know it? Who's on the board, on one of the boards for Unusual Machines? That's right, it's Donald Trump Jr. So Trump's son is on the board of Unusual Machines. So now we have a situation where a national security risk assessment is potentially not being done for the benefit of maybe one of your son's companies.
Yep, that's right. Trump Jr. is not only on the board of Unusual Machines, Red Cat, Rotor Riot, it's all the same thing, but also a shareholder.
A Pentagon-awarded contract to a company with close ties to Donald Trump Jr. has led to some ethical questions. The Pentagon awarded a contract to Florida-based company Unusual Machines to build 3,500 drone motors and other parts. Trump Jr. is a major shareholder with that company and will benefit financially from this deal. The president's son also helped to screen candidates for top jobs at the Pentagon following his father's election.
So this is interesting. Don Jr. got a new board seat, and he might be in a position to cash in on it. I haven't seen anybody else cover this, but here are the details. So right after Trump got elected in November, Don Jr. joined the board of a venture capital firm. That firm has investments in several defense companies. Then, later that month, Don Jr. was appointed to the board of a small drone manufacturer in Florida, Unusual Machines. In filings, we can see that Don Jr. owns over 330,000 shares in the company. After he joined, the share price skyrocketed, but today it hovers around $10. But that's only half the story. As part of Trump's budget bill, he wants to pump $1.4 billion into domestic drone manufacturing. And who stands to benefit? Unusual Machines.
Here's someone way smarter and way more of an alcoholic than I ever was to explain why all of this is a little bit strange.
Yeah, so Don Jr. Joined the board shortly after his father was reelected. Now, he did buy shares of the company in a private placement in October, so before his father was reelected. So he did have some sort of connection with this company beforehand. But after Dad wins, they put him on the advisory board. The CEO told me there actually had not been an advisory board previously, and the only person on it that he would name was Donald Trump Jr. He said he believes there are 4 members there. Wouldn't even tell me if the other ones were members of the Trump organization. So a little bit interesting there. But the last 3 months, we've really seen this company explode. It got about over $15.2 million in contracts, all either from defense contractors or one was actually directly from the Army itself.
So, I mean, not to be too tinfoil hat, let's switch it up. Let's take off our tinfoil hat and we'll put on our capitalism hat, all right? So, the government wants drones, but they don't want drones or any drone parts from China. You are Jeff Thompson, the CEO of Red Cat. This fucking dickhead in a I fly, you die hat. You want maximum money right now. You want to make these drones for the US military, but they don't want anything from China. They want USA made. But again, USA doesn't make any drone shit. It's all from China. How do you get around that? You need an in. You need somebody to change the laws so that you can use parts from China. Check this out.
We shared before that the Defense Department has big plans for drones and announced a big effort to unleash U.S. military drone dominance. Soon after, Unusual Machines was awarded the contract to build drone motors for the Army for drones used in recon and in surveillance. The executive order which Trump signed to build up the drone industry in the U.S. repealed previous restrictions on where the technology needs to come from. And at the beginning, it was the removal of that restriction that goosed the shares of the companies that build the drones. Previously, strict regulations prevented the Pentagon from buying drones and parts made by Chinese companies. That restriction went away with Trump's executive order, and that paved the way for Unusual Machines to bid on the new contracts to provide drones, because Unusual Machines source their motors from China. A drone requires 4 motors. Chinese motors cost $12 to $25. American drone motors cost $100 to $200. So the cost of just the motors for a simple, cheap drone will cost $48 if using made in China motors versus $400 if you want them built in the United States. And the motors are just the first problem. The glass for the cameras that go into the drones, those are made in China. Go through a bill of materials for any drone and you'll find dozens of parts that need a Chinese company to build them. The Pentagon needs lots of new drones from wherever they can get them. Unusual Machines and the other drone companies are happy to get the parts from wherever they can. President Trump signed an executive order that allowed the Chinese drone parts to go on the UAS list, and that led right away to big contracts for the drone makers who get their parts from China. So on paper, everything should be great for these companies. They're very well politically connected. They were awarded big money no object contracts from the Pentagon, who spends more on weapons than the next 10 countries combined. The Trump administration even changed the rules, and now they're allowed to buy cheap parts from China and put them together and slap their own company's name on the side to pretend they're unleashing U.S. drone dominance.
So if all this is to be believed, the reason you don't get to buy parts for your little... Oh, what the fuck? The reason you don't get to buy parts for your little FPV drones anymore is because the president's son and his buddies want to make money by getting government contracts to build drones to kill people. That is insane, dude. That is insanity. I mean, it's very 2025, right? Nothing makes sense. Everything is just greed. But like, how the fuck did I pick a hobby? How the fuck did I pick a little hobby 10 years ago that one day will be all fucked up because some fucking rich dickhead wanted to get richer? Well, I guess the odds are actually pretty good in America, never mind. But bro, what in the actual fuck, you know? Oh yeah, speaking of dickheads, hey Jeff, where'd you get that stupid fucking hat anyway?
Where can we buy that I Fly You Die ball cap? Chad, who's, if you don't know Chad Capper,
Yep, that checks out. So Unusual Machines wants DJI and all other competition gone. I wonder what DJI thinks about this.
There was an original compromise at the end of last year on it was supposed to go in the National Defense Authorization Act that was going to call for an audit of our products, but designated an agency and didn't have this timeline that was imposed. But at the last minute, the language was substituted, and basically 2 trapdoors were built into Section 1709. The first thing it doesn't do is it doesn't designate a specific agency. It says an appropriate intelligence agency should do a review of DJI and also Autel Robotics, one of our competitors that's also from China. But by not giving the job to one agency, all of them could just point the finger in the other direction. And so it gets lost in the shuffle.
All of these companies seem to be lobbying against DJI. How does this make sense?
So we never comment on specific competitors. Like, we've had a long-standing policy of not doing so. But you can look at the comments of the various companies themselves. I mean, some have been interviewed directly about this.
the Mavic 3s are super fragile. They're consumers. I mean, if you touch one and lift it up at a store, they're like, you could just squeeze it if you wanted to and be broken. And our drone's not like that.
So it's pretty clear that the domestic industry has been pushing to remove DJI from the market. But that's a vertical we never wanted to enter, right? Since our founding, our CEO has said that DJI will not get into the defense or combat drone sphere.
I've been flying FPV for a long time, 10 years now. I've seen a lot of the shit. I've been behind the scenes. I've seen how these companies operate. And after all this time, there are two main things that I've maintained. DJI is not good for FPV. They're way too big of a company in a traditionally small hobbyist space. And Rotor Riot / Red Cat does not give a fuck about the hobby. All they want is that money. And now look where we are. Red Cat is trying to take out DJI. This should be beautiful. I should be happy. My enemies are trying to take each other out.
Because he is his own worst enemy. The enemy of my friend is my enemy. So actually, Jim is my enemy.
Now, like I said, I'm pretty checked out of FPV. At this point, I'm doing other shit, but I still have a few whoops left and some HD0 boards, so I'm going to keep on flying. I'm not going to let any of this affect me personally. I'll be just fine. But this isn't just about me. This is about an entire community full of people that found something that brings them joy, And as much as I really do hate DJI. I feel bad for y'all that rely on their system. Like for the fucking United States government to say, hey, yep, nope, sorry, you can't play with your little toys anymore because my wealthy drug addicted son would just like some more money, please. It's fucking infuriating. And let's get this part clear because I've been researching this a little bit and I've been reading a bunch of comments on YouTube videos and I've seen people being like, oh, this is Joe Biden actually started this, or no, it was Trump that's doing this, or no, this is Congress. It's neither one of those. Like, bro, for real, get fucking serious. If you are still under the illusion that anybody in power or anyone who makes millions of dollars a year tax-free gives a fuck about you or anything that you want to do, then you're a fucking idiot, man. We are on our own here. This entire ban is about people with money influencing people with power so that they can both make more money and gain more power. And all of you got caught in the crossfire. Straight up. It's not left, it's not right. And in fact, nothing in life is left or right. It's rich versus working class. And the sooner everyone realizes that, the sooner we can start fixing all of this shit. Keep blaming another side and fucking never get anything done. Biden is a gross fucking kid sniffer that should never have been a president. Trump is a fucking rapist that shouldn't have never been a president. And now, because these goddamn Nepo baby dickheads and their friends want more money, you don't get to buy FPV stuff anymore. So I guess now the only question is, how much longer are we as a collective society going to allow this to happen? There sure as fuck are a lot more of us than there are of them. I mean, this whole DJI ban is kind of just a perfect metaphor for basically everything going on in the world right now. The rich own the governments and ignore the actual will of the people and are able to influence policies to enrich themselves while we gain nothing and only suffer from it. This is just yet another example. It is fucking 2025, man. We are not that dumb. We know Google spies on us. We know DJI spies on us. People have decided that they'd rather have convenience over privacy for some reason. So this whole banning it for national security thing, like it's just so transparent. Like if this is actually about stopping companies from spying, then none of these tech companies would exist. You'd not be able to own a cell phone or a laptop. Everything we do is being monitored 1,000 different ways by hundreds of different companies. And you know what? We know that now, and for some reason, we're cool with it. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on the whole reason why you don't get to buy any more little toy helicopter parts. I don't know if it's true, but it does seem pretty likely knowing the history of all parties involved. I hope you all have a good day, and for your sake, this gets figured out soon. FPV is fun as hell, and I would hate to see it get taken away from everyone just because some other dickheads got greedy. And for the sake of everyone that's built this hobby up over the past 15 years, if any of you are looking for any, last minute gift ideas for the community, I got one. I'd like Jeff Thompson and Trump Jr. right here tonight. I want them brought from their happy holiday slumber over there in Florida with all the other rich people. And I want them brought right here with a big ribbon on their heads, and I want to look them straight in the eye. I want to tell them what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-head sack of monkey shit they are. Hallelujah. Holy shit.